All right, we're back. Listen up. Maryland, presented by Dempsey's Growing Sports Land. Ryan, I don't know what happened. It just seemed like it was last night, and I'm still trying to get over it. All of our Maryland teams are gone. We're finished. Head coach Brenda Freese and company fell to Texas the other night. Number 6 Texas? That was a shocker, man. I know I talked to you after that game, and you said you didn't see the score until you woke up. And I mean, they held one of the hottest teams in the country to only 60-some points.
Yeah, and then they kind of cooled off against South Carolina, but yeah, Texas just had one of those games where they played tremendous defense against Maryland, and Maryland just had probably one of their worst games of the season, just at the wrong time, and they just didn't shoot the ball well. And that happens sometimes. Sometimes you just have a bad game, and unfortunately it happened to Maryland at one of the worst times. So it's unfortunate, but hopefully they can bounce back next season and have a even better run in the tournament next season.
I've read that all the girls will be back. So Ryan, before we get started into this episode, breaking down the Final Four, women's first, men's second, and we get our picks in. Do you have any special announcements?
Yeah, that's right. The gift card for Dick's Sporting Goods. So send us an email at listenupmaryland@gmail.com. Only for the men's side of things, send us your pick for the winner of the championship game and the score for a $50 Dick's Sporting Goods gift card. Send us an email, listenupmaryland@gmail.com. So that's the gift card giveaway. So make sure you send us
the winner for this round and the championship game.
Yeah, we can do that. Winner for both of the Final Four games, championship, and score for the championship.
Yeah, all right. So the winner of the Final Four coming up Saturday, and then the winner of the championship. If everybody gets them right, then we'll narrow it down to the score prediction. That's presented by Dick's Sporting Goods. But for now, Ryan, so the UConn Huskies, I did the key player to watch, Ryan, for me in this game. You got the UConn Huskies going up against Arizona on, when is that, Friday?
Yep, Friday at 9.
Obviously, I don't think it's a big surprise. I have Paige Beckers, the key player to watch in this matchup. Ryan, she had 28 points against Baylor. And then in that win, in that Elite Eight win, and then she has, I thought this number is just absolutely crazy. Since joining, Ryan, she joined the team of December of 2020. She has racked up a total of 563 points since December.
Yeah, that's just insane what she's been able to bring to the team. The player of the year in women's basketball, freshman of the year, player of the year. It's just incredible what she's been able to do. But some other players besides obviously Beckers being the standout player for this team. Kristen Williams coming off the bench, usually coming off the bench, contributes 16.5 points for them. Olivia Nelson-Adota averages 12 points. So some other key players that definitely play a role on this team. But we saw it last game against Baylor. The Huskies went on a 19-0 run when they were down, and that was basically led by Beckers' three-point shooting. And when Paige can get on a run, it just energizes the whole team and really gets everyone going. And it's really the main factor for the Huskies winning this game coming up. It's going to be, can Beckers kind of energize the team and get everyone going?
That's right. Yeah, you're right. Get everyone going. Not that she has to, because I tell you, the rest of the team around her has really stepped up and played well. But she is the key factor to me in this decision on whether they win another championship or not. I think it's safe to say, Ryan, if you don't have her in the lineup right now, just this year, I'm not talking about next year or years to come, but currently, if you don't have Paige Beckers in that lineup, I think that it's safe to say no matter who you go up against, because I have them beating Arizona. So I don't know. No matter if you go up against Stanford or South Carolina, look, UConn's in trouble without Paige.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Paige is definitely the number one player on this team, but I also have UConn in this game. I just think it's going to be too much for Arizona to handle. But I think if Arizona has a chance to win this game, they're going to be led by Ari McDonald. She leads Arizona in points scored per game, scoring 20 a contest. She also leads the team in 3-point shots made per game. So I think if Arizona has any chance of winning this game, it will have to come through her, just like the game will come through Paige Beckers for UConn.
Yeah, she's had 30 plus. Ari McDonald's had scored 30 plus in each of the past 2 games. So yeah, I think that's a key factor for Arizona. Put the ball in McDonald's hands and just hope that somehow they can stop Connecticut. Moving on to the next game. Actually, it's the first game, I think, of the night on Friday. You have South Carolina and then Stanford. Ryan, I know that I've looked at the power rankings over and over these past couple of weeks, and I've told you, even though we think Connecticut is going to win it all, and my mind may change in that national championship. I just have to wait to see who's going. But Stanford, the ladies are favored to actually win the whole tournament. It's no secret there. The power rankings I've looked at for the past couple of weeks, they have Stanford as they keep on re-ranking these teams each week as we get down to the champion. Stanford is at the top, Ryan. So, again, you talk about what they did against Louisville and that comeback, and that was from a reserve. Ashton Prechtel, I think is how you say her name. Hopefully you're saying it right. She's 6'5" sophomore. And I heard that I didn't watch all the game, but she came off of the bench, right? It says she watched the entire first half of Stanford's Elite 8 game from the bench. So, I mean, I don't know, Ryan. I mean, if you have what does that say about Stanford, Ryan? If you have a player coming off the bench and they were already down by as many as 14. So if you have players coming off the bench doing this damage, what's that mean for the starters?
Yeah, I mean Stanford, for them to be ranked number 1 over UConn, they have to have some depth on the team. And they have to have players that can step up when the starters can't carry the load. I mean, Stanford scored 30 points in the fourth quarter to complete the comeback over Louisville. So it's just, really a shock because I actually picked Louisville. I know we were texting before the game, and I picked Louisville for the upset. But Stanford was able to complete that comeback because of their bench ultimately in that game. But when Stanford beyond the arc this season, they're a hard team to beat when they start connecting from 3-point range. They connect on 9 3-pointers per game. So when Stanford shoots an average from beyond the arc this season, they're 15-0. So it's really important for both of these teams really to shoot the ball well. But I think it will be more important for both of these teams to step up on defense since they're both so good shooting in general for both of these teams.
Remember in December of last year, we had an episode come out about Tara VanDerveer, the head coach for women's basketball of Stanford. She now you see her in the Final Four, and no surprise. But remember, we had an episode last year in December, and when VanDerveer passed Pat Summitt on the all-time wins list, I still think VanDerveer has more wins than any coach to ever coach women's basketball. So again, no surprise there, as the winningest coach, Ryan, in women's basketball history is back in the Final Four.
Yeah, and she'll definitely have her team ready for this game. She definitely knows how to do it. Been there plenty of times before. So the Stanford Cardinal will definitely be ready for their matchup against South Carolina.
Players I have to look out for South Carolina if they have any chance of beating Stanford. I have Stanford in this game. You can tell me who you have winning. Stanford, I have them winning, beating South Carolina and moving on to the championship to face Connecticut Easter Sunday. But I have a guard. She's a 6'2" senior out of North Carolina, Lele Grissett. Lele Grissett. She's a guard for South Carolina. Ryan, I just think that I watched different highlights of her. She does a great job getting down the court fast to score big buckets, whether it's threes or inside from the paint. But yeah, when you get time after this episode, go on there and look at Grissett. She's 6'2" guard, and again, like I said, she gets down the court very quickly to get some passes down and she hurries the defense up. So I think if you're Stanford, in order to shut down Grissett, you're gonna have to play that pressure defense, and you're gonna have to play it quick because Grissett can get up the floor very fast on you.
Yeah, she'll be a key factor in this game, but I also have Stanford in this game. I think they're going to be too much for South Carolina, especially coming down to the fourth quarter. But for South Carolina, when they reach the 53-point mark, they're 26-3 on the year. So South Carolina shooting 44% from the field per game. When South Carolina shoots above its average this year, they're 14-0 this season. So it's going to be very important for the Gamecocks to shoot the ball well to win this game. Zia Cook leads South Carolina in scoring, averages 15 points per game. Destiny Henderson paces the squad, 5 assists, averages 12 points. Leah Boston leads the Gamecocks, 11 rebounds, adds 14 points. So look for those three players to pace the game for South Carolina, and the team will rely on them down the stretch in this game. And I think those three players will have to come up big for the Gamecocks if they want a chance to win this game.
All right, moving on to the men's side. The first game that you have on Saturday is 5 o'clock on CBS. It's Houston and Baylor. Ryan, I think the biggest headline now is will anyone disrupt the Gonzaga and Baylor collision that we expect to see on Monday? That'd be next Monday, April the 5th.
That's
so
right.
We're expecting, the nation is pretty much expecting to see a Gonzaga and Baylor national championship. I'll just go ahead and say I am now. I don't know about you. Are you expecting the same?
Yeah. I also have Baylor and Gonzaga.
Okay. I know you don't have Baylor winning it all, but you have or you don't have Gonzaga winning it all.
No.
You don't have Gonzaga. You have Baylor. I have Gonzaga, but we'll get into that next week after the national championship once we get back on. Key players, Ryan, for that first game, Houston and Baylor. What do you got?
Yeah, I just think for Houston's a very good rebounding team. The rebounding won them the game versus Rutgers. This team has battled through some tough fought wins in this tournament, and this is going to be another tough test for this Cougars team. They will have to play good defense in this game against a very good three-point shooting team in the Baylor Bears. Forcing turnovers, I think, will be a key piece if Houston wants a chance to win this game. They're a very well-coached team. Of course, they won their conference. They had a very good team this season. It's been a while for Houston, but they have a very good team. But I just think Baylor is going to be too much for them. Baylor, I think it's going to come down to two things for them. I think first it's their three-point shooting. They're one of the best three-point shooting teams in the country. So it's important for them to get in a groove and knock down some shots early. Secondly, I think it's their defense. Villanova gave Baylor a tough test early in this tournament, and Baylor's defense in the second half ultimately won them the game. Davion Mitchell plays lockdown defense for this team, forces a lot of turnovers. They're going to rely on him in this game to fire up the team defensively and force a lot of turnovers, kind of get them going on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, so I'm looking right now. Jared Butler, LJ Cryer, of course you have Adam Flagler. A lot of great talent on the Baylor side. Ryan, I know it's a struggle. I admit it's a struggle to tell you right now. I think Houston's going to keep this game close. I really do. With the talent that they have up and down. I'm not just saying that because they're a number 2 team, but when you look at the defense they play and what they've done in this tournament so far, um, I don't know, man. I'm not writing off Houston just yet. Um, so yeah, we'll see. It's going to be fun. How about the second game, Gonzaga, UCLA? Now UCLA, watch out.
Yeah. This is another game. I know we were texting before, and I predicted this one. I picked UCLA to pull off the upset against Michigan, and they did. From the first 4 game to the final 4, UCLA somehow, kept the momentum going and found a spot in the final 4. UCLA keeps their momentum going, pulling off the upset against Michigan. Without a doubt, though, this will be the toughest game that UCLA has played this season. And, of course, the game before Michigan, they played Alabama and upset them. They absolutely lit it up from 3 that game. And if this team gets hot from beyond the arc, I think that's about the only chance they have in winning this game. But I think the real question for UCLA is going to be, can they outscore the Bulldogs? Because nobody's done it yet this season. So UCLA, maybe even more importantly than their offense, they're going to have to play outstanding defense, force turnovers, out-rebound the Bulldogs, because nobody's been able to do it this season. Gonzaga is obviously still undefeated. So, it's going to be, can UCLA outscore them and, can somehow hold them to even under 80 points?
Talk about Gonzaga's Jalen Suggs. This morning, a article came out, and Suggs and Beckers. I saw that their relationship goes back to their days on the Minnesota high school sports scene, Ryan. So I thought that was pretty cool because Jalen Suggs on Gonzaga's team, it says he drew inspiration from. It's supposedly he chatted with UConn star Paige Beckers before Gonzaga's win, and so I just want to go back to that again because before we get off of here, I want to just make sure that it's not because of the winning or the amount of points sometimes that you're putting up, but I know during this episode too that we wanted to focus on the topic of possibly is Paige Beckers the best rookie in UConn women's basketball history. And again, I'm going to, not just because I'm not going to judge her on the fact of winning a championship, not winning a championship. To me, it's not going to come down to that, man. I'll be honest with you now. For her rookie year, I'll wait and say more of my thoughts till after the season's over. But I just want to, I'm leaning towards a yes, Ryan. Yes, she is the best rookie in UConn history, and I think it's not only, not because of the points that she puts up or the winning, again, like I just said, but I think it's the fact she makes everyone around her better. We talk about so many times, Ryan, about not only in sports, but in life general, how do you inspire different people? How do you make everyone around you better? And that's what she's done, man. I mean, her coming on as a freshman, I didn't expect her to come on and be an immature, girl out of high school, some smart young lady that doesn't want to be told this or that by the head coach, that doesn't want to follow the rules. I'm not saying that she was going to be like that, but what I'm saying is she is so mature, and you can tell, that, man, when you're on the interviews with her, when she's going to the sideline, during commercial break, when she's talking to head coach Ariema, when she's firing up her teammates. If you wouldn't tell me, if you would just turn the TV on, I'd see this star player and not have a clue who it is. I would think that it's a senior, Ryan, playing for UConn. Right. Yeah, so a true star in the making. again, I'm not going to judge her on the fact if she wins a championship or not. But Ryan, I tell you, I'm leaning towards more or less that she is the best rookie in program history. Uh, Consider she even joined the team late, and we're still having this discussion. I mean, how big is that?
Yeah, it really is amazing what Paige Beckers has been able to do, especially like you just mentioned, coming to the team later in the season and just being a freshman out of high school, leading the team and scoring, but not only is making the team better in terms of scoring and leading the team and making them win games, but it's her leadership and the way she's able to lead the team and energize them before the game and during the game to get them fired up and get them going, leading them through the tough stretches of the game when they're struggling shooting. She gets them going on the defensive side of the ball. And it just really is amazing just watching her and what she does to really elevate the team and make them so much better. And just she really is the number one player on this team. But to answer the question, I would also say yes. I mean, UConn's such a rich team in terms of history and how many great players that they've had. And of course, Coach Gino is a big part of that and this coaching staff. It really is a great university and college rich in tradition. So I would say yes to Paige Beckers. Definitely is one of the best, but I would argue that she is the best freshman probably ever to come to UConn.
Yeah. Hey, so the Baylor Lady Bears, the matchup. I want to talk to you about this before we head on out. The Baylor and just the other night, Baylor and UConn. Ryan, that to me that was a foul. Uh, I don't know about you. That was a foul on that last play of the game. I thought that UConn or Baylor should have at least got 2 shots against UConn, but the Lady Huskies defeated Baylor to move on to the Final Four. Um, yeah, I talked to you. You said it was lockdown defense, but I disagree. I think it was a foul when you hit her in the face. I mean, what did you see there that you said that it was not a foul?
Yeah, it was a really controversial call. It really sparked some controversy after the game. Of course, I watched the whole game, and it was really back and forth. You could see both coaches on the sideline arguing for calls. Uh, it was really chippy, to be honest, the whole game. Some calls should have been called, some not. Really just the whole game back and forth for both teams. And of course, refereeing in any sport is tough. The referees are human. Everybody makes mistakes. We've seen it in every sport. Basketball, of course, you have 3 referees. They're running up and down the court just as much as the players are. So it's a really tough sport to officiate, but I'd probably have to watch it again to be honest. But just watching the replays after the game, I don't think it was a foul. I think both players went straight up and let the contact come to them, and that's the reason why I don't think it was a foul. But I think outside of that call at the end of the game, I think there was a lot more calls throughout the whole game that maybe should have been called or should not have been called on both teams. So, ultimately UConn won the game. It was a very good game. The whole game, it was back and forth against 2 of the best teams in the country. So it was really fun to watch.
I received a email of what we thought about Kim Mulkey, and the Lady Bears. Kim Mulkey came out after the game, after the big loss, and she says, I wanted to see our initial reaction to this. She wants to do away without COVID-19 testing for the Final Four. What's your reaction for this, Ryan? I'll tell you now. You're getting mine. I think it's just I think it's a little bit childish. I really do, for her to come out and say something like that. I don't know why. Why is she worried about it? When when they're not in the Final Four to begin with. A spokesman for the NCAA, Rick Nixon, he already told ESPN in an email that they will continue to test through the end of the championship on Sunday. Was that just an example of how your emotions get uptight, after a big loss like that? I mean, what's the COVID testing have to do with anything of the game and why they lost? I don't I'm not too sure if I understood what happened there.
Yeah, I saw this earlier today, and I was kind of surprised at the comments, and I honestly didn't really understand it either. But coming off of a tough loss like that, the players have to go to the media, and when you lose a game like that, you probably don't want to talk, especially to the media. So maybe
Raw emotions, yeah, the
her
emotions were
emotions.
ran high, and I just think that I don't think you're ever going to see her admit it. I just think that she said something that she wished she could have taken back or not said at all.
Yeah, I just think her emotions probably got the best of her, but safety definitely comes first for all these coaches and the players and the staff. So I'm glad they're gonna keep on COVID testing for the men and the women
Yeah.
to make
You're
sure
not lying, because
everyone's safe.
you were the first to tell me before this tournament ever got started. I know a couple players tested positive before we started, and I hear from you and you go, "Here we go again."
Yeah. I mean, you kind of figured it was going to happen, right? I mean, you just hoped and prayed that it wasn't, but unfortunately, that's just the times that we live in now, and we just kind of had to expect that some players and some coaches were going to test positive. It's just the way it is.
It's just the way it is. Happy opening day to you, bud.
Yeah. Opening day for the Orioles. It's exciting. I know we're gonna watch it together. So it's been a long time coming, and yeah, I can't wait for opening day in baseball.
In just a couple hours, huh?
Yep. Just a couple hours and at Fenway Park for the Orioles.
Listen up, Maryland, presented by Dempsey's Growing Sportsland. Ryan, it's been a pleasure. And you have a happy holiday this weekend, bud, and I will see you soon.
All right, I'll see you later.